Hey there, all you friends, true believers, and newcomers alike. Superfly Comics Guy here, your friendly neighborhood comic book nerd, today bringing you a review of All-Star Superman, the Deluxe Edition from DC Comics by Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely, and Jamie Grant, often regarded as the definitive Superman tale, and for good reason, so today we'll be diving into why that is exactly. We'll be taking a look at the cover, the spine, the contents collected, the build quality, and of course a flip through where I share some of my thoughts, opinions, and recommendations with all of you. So if you like the video at any point, you know how to show it. And if you're a nerd like me, feel free to leave your own thoughts, opinions, and recommendations in the comments. But with that out of the way, strap on your cape and make sure you hide that kryptonite under your couch, because it's time for us to take a look at Grant Morrison's iconic take on an iconic superhero. Let's go. Alright, so here we have the dust jacket to the All-Star Superman Deluxe Edition. For anybody not familiar with DC's Deluxe Edition format, it's basically the same thing as a Marvel oversized hardcover, kind of like the Spider-Man Life Story hardcover that I took a look at recently. Same size as an omnibus, it's oversized format. It's just a little thinner, you know, for those shorter stories that are too small for an omnibus treatment. But yeah, take a look at this cover. Really, really beautifully penciled by Frank Quitely here. And just look, I love how it captures the warmth of Superman, and like you really feel the fragility of the earth and the sense of pride and I guess protectiveness that Superman has for it. You know, this is his world and he's going to do whatever he can to protect it and defend it. Now, there's no variant covers for this specific printing, but there have been multiple printings of this deluxe edition, and sometimes those will have different covers, and I think for the most part each one has been a cover from the main story. But anyway, let's take a look at the spine, and there it is, and the back. Look at that. Again, just classic image of Superman, hopeful, iconic, great stuff. In here, you're getting all 12 issues of the All-Star Superman series, and a cover price of $34.99 US, $45.99 Canadian. Let's have a look under the dust jacket. I think you guys are going to like this. Look at that, a wraparound, so you know what that means. Got to open it up and show you guys. This is one of my favorite images from the entire series. This gorgeous spread of Superman soaring over the sun, bathed in warm light. At least I think he's over the sun here, I don't know. But it just captures the freedom, hopefulness of the character, even from his facial expression. It's so well done. But anyway, let's dive into the contents. Alrighty, All-Star Superman, here we go. Got some bookend pages here of the clouds and this image here of a very relaxed Superman. Interesting story about this. I believe Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely were at, was it San Diego Comic-Con one time, and they saw somebody dressed up as Superman, and he was just kind of sitting on like a rock or something, or point is, he was just looked exactly like this, all relaxed, not a care in the world. And it struck Grant Morrison. They were like, yeah, of course, if Superman did exist, if there was a being that was this invulnerable guy who really couldn't be harmed by anything, his body language would be relaxed. He wouldn't be trying to put on a show. He would just be completely unfazed. He wouldn't have a worry in the world. So that's what inspired this cover. This image of Superman laid back, relaxed, sitting on a cloud overlooking the city. Really, really well done. But anyway, let's talk about this. All-Star Superman. If you're not familiar with All-Star, DC's All-Star lineup, all it really means is when you see All-Star, I don't know, Superman or All-Star Batman, basically it's just a standalone story separate from the rest of DC continuity. So it's reserved for those stories where artists just want to tell a standalone story without having to connect it to the main continuity. So, God, there's that image I love so much. So the premise here is Superman saves a bunch of people in space really, really close to the sun. So he flies very, very close to the sun. And if you know Superman, our sun is what gives him his powers. So that trip to the sun actually causes him to manifest new powers. He becomes more powerful. But as the downside of that is that his cells become supercharged with the radiation, and it actually starts to slowly kill him. He finds out he has this sort of cancer that's slowly eating away at him. And it's all about what he does with the time he has left. He's prophesied actually to perform 12 legendary labors before his time is up. So it's very Herculean in its approach there, you might recognize. And don't get me wrong, these labors, they might sound like there's 12 labors, 12 issues, one labor per issue. No, it's not really like that. The labors are more so implied. Some are more obvious than others, but you probably won't catch all of them on your first read through is what I'm saying. But yeah, 12 issues in here. And don't get me, it is a continuous story, but the issues don't exactly always go directly into one another. Each issue or a couple of issues is usually its own mini story. But yeah, as I mentioned before, definitive Superman tale. You know, so often you'll hear people say that you can't do Superman, he's too powerful, he's not relatable. This book spits in the face of that argument because it makes him more powerful than ever. Yet it tethers him with this mortality, this cancer, and yet it still focuses on demonstrating why he's so relatable. This is a man who can fly through stars and go toe-to-toe with gods, and yet he can still get chewed out by his boss at work or get torn down by just a few words from Lois Lane. And he's got his own dog, but when Superman walks his dog, he's walking it around the solar system. He's everything we as people understand. He's just on an epic scale compared to us. Now I'm paraphrasing Grant Morrison there, who can articulate all of this way better than I can hope to. So if you're interested in delving into, deeper into those themes that I'm referencing, I highly recommend, there's this great mini sort of documentary called, I think, Superman Now is what it's called, where Grant Morrison and the other creators behind this series discuss it and dissect the philosophy of Superman. If you've never seen it, I really think it'll open your eyes and give you a new appreciation for the character, so I highly recommend that for sure. But those familiar with Morrison's work will know that they are known for their high-level thinking and sometimes weird concepts like alternate dimensions, planes of existence, timelines, that sort of thing. And there is a little bit of that in here. Like I remember thinking how there were some chapters in here involving Bizarro, who's like this anti-Superman character, if you don't know, that were kind of weird. And I understand that type of Morrisonism might put some people off, but if you can, try not to let it in here because the overall story here is so good. There are so many moments in here that just will make you go, yep, that's Superman. He's a man who can defend Earth from otherworldly forces, evil gods, creatures, disasters, you name it. But on another day, he'll still dedicate the time to save one girl from committing suicide by simply talking to her, showing her why life is worth living, reassuring her that everything will be okay. You know, Morrison really understands the core of this character, the relatability, the hope, the inspiration, the optimism, the notion that no matter how dark things may seem, there is always a way. Superman will find a way. And we can talk a bit about the art in here by Frank Quitely, who's generally not my favorite artist, but in this book I think he really, really shines most of the time. Occasionally there's like an ugly face drawn or like leathery looking skin, in my opinion. But just subtle things like the difference between how Superman is drawn versus how Clark Kent is drawn, they genuinely feel like two different people, all because of the nuances in like posture, confidence, hair, attitude. It really speaks to Frank Quitely's artistic ability there. And the covers in this series are great all throughout, as you've probably seen as I was flipping through. I believe they were conceptualized by Grant Morrison and then penciled from there by Frank Quitely. Just really, really well done. I'll have to censor that page there since it is the final page of the story, but here we have some extras featuring the cover process by Grant Morrison, as I mentioned. Some snippets from Grant Morrison's notebook. There you can see all the covers. And what's really cool is here you have a bunch of notes from Grant Morrison on all of the bunch of the characters in this story, like Superman, Clark Kent. It's funny how they have their own a separate section: Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, the villains. It's really cool. It's a really detailed and in-depth extras section. So it's definitely a good one. And another cool thing they do in this extra section, which I can't show you on this next page, which I'm not going to flip through because it's a spoiler. But they actually do list out all the 12 legendary labors of Superman, and in case you missed them, you can go back and see, okay, that's what I missed. It's really, really cool. And then we have some biographies of the creators here. But that's that for the extras. Let's talk about the build quality. All right, here we are. This deluxe edition has 328 pages. It does have sewn binding, but I mean, doesn't really do much. There's no real eye to speak of. You can see there. But again, it's a small book. You're not really going to have any issues with gutter loss. Here, I'll flip. You can see there's a nice buffered space in the middle. So, and actually perfect. Here's a spread page for you. You can see, not really an issue. And in terms of paper quality, it's not the thickest I've seen from DC, but it's pretty good. I don't really recall ever seeing any page bleed or anything like that. So the quality is good here. And before you know it, here we are, just to wrap up some quick thoughts. Yeah, as I said before, reading this showed me why this is the definitive Superman tale. It really captures everything the character stands for. He's so many good Superman moments. He'll be curing diseases, fighting monsters, protecting the Earth, but then also looking out for the little guy. If you found someone that knew nothing about Superman, you could give them this book and they would get it. For instance, this was my very first Superman-specific book that I've read, so it's super easy to get into for new readers, but I also think that this story would just get better and better the more familiar you are with Superman and his stories, so it's got something for even the most seasoned of Superman fans. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed my review of All-Star Superman, the Deluxe Edition. If you have any questions, leave them below. Let me know what you thought about the book or the review. I know there's actually an animated movie of All-Star Superman, which I haven't seen. If anyone's seen that, let me know how it is and if I should check it out. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to catch you guys in another video real soon, so you have yourself a great day. I've been Superfly Comics Guy, and until next time, you keep reading. Bye, guys.